Where are you going, huh? Where are you going? You're too old to hold on now, boy. You're too old to hold on. Ow! That is my ear. That is my ear. What are you doing? What are you doing? What? 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 You're so adorable. Yes, you are. Hey you guys, it's MJ and welcome back to Pet Adventures again. So today we are going to be talking about one of the most requested videos ever, possibly ever on my channel. And that is mice versus rats as pets. You guys ask me this all the time. I get questions on my Instagram, my Facebook, here on YouTube. I get all kinds of questions on what should I pick for my first pet? Should I pick the mice? Should I pick the rats? I don't know what to pick, MJ. You be telling me to pick this, pick that. I don't know. Too many things going on. So we are going to set the record straight, okay? And you're gonna get your fix, okay? You're gonna get your fix, finally. Also, products that I currently like to use for my rats and products that I highly recommend will be in the description down below, so don't forget to check that out. It'll also be in a pinned comment in the comments down below, so don't forget about that. Alright, so the real answer is to you guys' question is truly, what kind of pet are you looking for? And this can go hand in hand. I kind of tell you guys this all the time, but when it really comes down to it, a mouse versus a rat, honestly, it's really whatever you want. There are so many perks about mice and there are so many perks about rats. I honestly would not be able to 100% choose, but if you guys are looking for one thing and then some of you guys are looking for a whole other thing, I can narrow it down to which little species, pet, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I can kind of narrow it down to what maybe may fit your lifestyle, and it kind of depends on where you are with pets. So if you are kind of a beginner and things like that, then I would have to recommend mice 100%. I actually recommend mice as a first pet. A lot of you guys know this. When it comes to small animals, a lot of people will tell you hamster, hamster, hamster. But honestly, my number one choice personally would have to be a mouse. A mouse is the best beginner pet. It is convenient because they can be in something as big as a 20-gallon tank, which is not all that huge. So you can get a 20-gallon tank or a very tall, medium-sized cage for a mouse. They don't take up much space. However, no matter how small a species is, there's no such thing as a hamster or a mouse being able to live happily in a critter trail for its entire life. For most of his life, my mouse Brownie has lived in a 20-gallon long tank. Recently we had to put him in a quarantine critter trail cage, and that's because he has been suffering greatly from respiratory infection. He has his ups and downs. Like a few weeks ago he was doing great, now he's kind of derailing, so he has his ups and downs. I really can't tell you where things are gonna go with Brownie. I have no clue. He has been to the vet twice. I would definitely say that mice are great for beginners. If you're kind of new to pet keeping in general, or you're kind of new to small animals, I wouldn't recommend rats. They're called rets, R-E-T, rets. I wouldn't recommend rats quite so fast. I know they're super cute, but I do not recommend them for beginners because they require a lot more time than mice, a lot more time than gerbils, than hamsters, you name it. Wonderful. It's gotta rain while I make a video, huh? So if you are a beginner and you kind of want something a little bit on the easier side, I would definitely stick with mice first, and then probably a hamster and then rats. But if you're not gonna really be into hamsters and you don't really feel it with them, it would be mice and then rats. Another great thing that I wanna mention about mice is, are you looking for something to bond with you? Mice can 100% bond with their owners. However, mice do not get used to their owners as fast as rats do. From my experience, rats have become very adjusted to anything, people, environment, whatever it is. They get adjusted within 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the rat's personality, of course, but usually between 2 to 3 weeks is when they start adjusting to everything. Rats as a whole are very happy little animals. Their favorite things in life are food, love, food, cuddles, and food. For all of you rat keepers out there, you know what I'm talking about. But the thing is rats typically become a lot more bonded to their humans than mice do. That being said, like I said, mice develop a strong bond. So if you are looking for a strong bond to be built, I would recommend a male mouse. Now you can bond with females, but the thing is females are very communicative. They love being in a huge little sorority, if you will. They love being with their sisters. So you can't really get that with a male mouse. They kind of hate other males. They see them as a threat. They kind of want to be the big chief in the area. They get very territorial. They don't want everybody all up in their business. However, they do all right with females. So if you get a male and a female, they'll have little babies if that's what you're looking for. It's not a huge thing to take care of baby rats and mice. So I'm getting off topic. Either way, mice are great, but their bond does not happen as quickly as rats. So if you are looking for compatibility, companionship, whatever it is, compatibility, is that the right word? Either way, if you're looking for companionship right away, I would have to recommend rats. Rats are great if you need a bonding pet. They bond basically just as well as a dog does to you. I can honestly say that my rats seek protection from me. They seek food from me. They really do seek love from me. You know, they really do a lot, and they actually groom me. Now, when a rat grooms you, everyone should know this when you keep a rat. When a rat grooms you, it's actually a very big thing for a rat to groom you, because that means that they consider you part of their pack. You're a pack member after they lick you all over. Or you could be sweaty. They also like salt. Now, if you're looking for convenience and you're having a space issue, I would recommend mice. Mice are great when you are kind of having space issues. Like I said, all they need is a 20-gallon tank. You can also get them the Alaska cage, I believe that it's called. By the way, you guys, any products that I'm mentioning are going to be down below in the description, so you can go check those out. But I believe the Alaska cage is what it's called. Those are also really great for mice. Sometimes I recommend them a little bit more every now and then, because you get a little bit more ventilation out of them because it's a barred cage, and you can also get a lot of climbing going on in the cage because mice need to climb. Whereas rats, you need a good amount of space. If you have a good amount of space in your room and you're kind of deciding, what do I want to do, rats or mice? If you get mice, then you will have to kind of think about like, hey, if I get a mouse, I'll probably have more room for another pet if I want to do that. But if I get a rat, it could possibly take up a good amount of space. So if space is kind of an issue with you, make sure that you stick to mice. Now, when it plays into smell, what smells the worst and what smells the best? To be honest, both mice and rats are kind of smelly. There are some rat lovers out there that will kind of shrug this off and tell you that they don't smell, or maybe they just aren't very sensitive to smell. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, okay? Rats as a whole and mice as a whole are usually pretty smelly. But to be honest, I don't have an issue with it because if you clean the cage often enough, it's not that big of an issue. There's lots of things you can do, like you can get air purifiers, which help as well. It's not an issue with me. It doesn't affect me too much. As long as I'm not going weeks without cleaning the cage, it's all good. And that goes for both mice and rats. Now, however, here's the thing. When you first get a mouse for quite some time, they're going to do what's called musking. Now, I'm not sure if this applies with females, but I know I've only kept males, so I can tell you, males are very smelly because at first they will do something called musking, which is something they often do when they're kind of scared and also when they don't know where they are and they're having territorial issues, things like that. So when you first get a mouse, they are going to smell it first. Here's the thing, musking eventually goes away. I know this just from personal experience. When I first got Brownie and when I first got Dexter, the one that unfortunately passed away, they would burping. I always love to burp during my videos. Musking is something that happens with at least male mice, as far as I know, when they first enter their home for a good few months, at least from my personal experience, but it doesn't remain forever. It eventually does go away. Rats don't have a musking problem, but their urine can kind of be a little smelly. It smells like ammonia if you let it build up in the cage too much, which is not a good smell at all. However, the smell with rats is going to be far, 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 far worse with their, not only their pee smell, but also the way their feces smells. It's going to be far worse depending on what you feed them. So do not skip out on foods that are really good for them. So, stick to high quality foods. So I always recommend Oxbow. Oxbow brands are good. Missouri brands are kind of good. They're a little more in the middle. It's a little bit less quality, but Oxbow and Missouri are great brands for when you're getting the pelleted blocks or whatever for them. And then you want to give them things like, I would say on the regular, you can do like green beans, peas. You can also do strawberries, mushed banana, blueberries. That's the kind of stuff that I feed my rats on the regular. So good foods are more in that kind of area. Now, you do want to stick away from seedy brands that have those weird, like for instance, Katie. Katie will make a brand for almost anything, hamsters, rats, and it'll have all those little seed mixes in it, and there will be like all these colors. It looks so cute and like fruity and fun, but usually those are the crappy foods. They have lots of sunflower seeds in them, and those foods actually affect the way your rats smell as far as urine and feces. Like also, for instance, Lucky, when he first came home, he smelled terrible because the place I got him from was feeding the rats low quality, low protein dog food. So as you can imagine, it smelled really bad. So that's the smelling between mice and rats. There is a small difference also between the bedding. You can get away with mice having loose bedding that has partial dust in it, like Clean and Cozy and Carefresh. Those don't usually affect mice right away. However, when you keep a mouse for a long time and it's been over a year that you keep that mouse, I do recommend switching to fleece. But the difference between mice and rats is you have to use only fleece or blankets or some sort like that for rats, because the thing is whether you like it or not, it's the only real safe bedding. Some people may disagree on this, but it's true. I know this from research, and I also know it just from personal experience. I mean, I remember back in the day, I would put like just some Carefresh in the litter box for them, and they would be sneezing and coughing up a storm or whatever. So just the littlest bit of dust really sets the lungs off for rats. So you basically have to have 100% no dust in the cage. Even the litter has to be pelleted type litter. When it comes to mice, you can get away with using things like Clean and Cozy and Carefresh, at least in the beginning. So that's a big difference with what you want to be spending your money on. Cheap fleece or a little bit pricier, Carefresh and Clean and Cozy. But if you do end up keeping a certain mouse for over a year, I would recommend preventing respiratory infection in the future, because the system eventually starts dropping once they're older. I do recommend switching to fleece around over a year. So over that mark, you do want to switch to fleece as well. And mice are a bit more skittish because they are tinier, and rats are a lot less skittish. Overall, they are still prey animals though, so be very gentle with them. And again, you cannot keep male mice together, and when it comes to rats, you can keep male rats together and you can keep female rats together, so it doesn't matter. With the mice, you can only keep females together. And overall, I would definitely say, I'm sorry for you guys to hear this, but it's very true from my experience. Rats do bond to you a lot closer than mice do. However, mice still bond. There is a definite bond between me and Brownie, but I would definitely have to say that my bonds are very strong between Charlie, Oscar, and Lucky. So that being said, it doesn't make me love the rats any more than my mouse. I still love them all equally. I just have a stronger bond with the rats. So I hope this helped you guys out. That's all the things I can think of from my personal experience and from research. So you guys decide what you like better, and I hope this helped you guys out. So please give me some feedback down below in the comments. Don't forget, I make a blog post every time I release a video, so go check out my blog post on my website at petadventureshop.com. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, so you can be a part of the adventures crew here. And please give this video a big thumbs up, especially if you love pets and mice and rats. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!